Okay, yeah, but now we're in the fourth quarter of 2021. And this fourth quarter is, hey, it's what they say is heating up. So Mook, CQ, what do y'all feel is in the air right now? And how does chaos been for y'all in this little turmoil, turbulence we have?
What? Well, to piggyback off of what DRA was saying, like as far as the years seeming like they're merging together, it really feels like we're in some type of like a shift in dimension, like where time was kind of like suspended in a way. Like for instance, like when you're in the wave of channeling, or like Bobby Hemmett will be like in his like mode where he's like talking and it'll be 4 hours and it don't even feel like it. So I kind of felt like we're somewhat like in a twilight zone, or some type of a time shift, or a loop. And it's like the powers that be, quote unquote, are trying to keep our consciousness trapped in this like technosphere, quote unquote, to speak. And just to throw it out there, like if you guys that's listening still have not got that book, Time in the Technosphere, like I would definitely recommend you get that, because it breaks down everything that's happening right now. The Matrix is shutting down, and we're more so stepping into higher consciousness. But to answer your question, Dream, transformation, change. Well, honestly, I am currently going through like a 9-year cycle, like which means like it's endings for me. Like that number 9 is also a Martian energy, transformational energy. So a lot of things within me, like I've been like shedding layers to myself. It's like, oh, this is who I thought I was. And spirit is like, buddy, like that's not who you really are. That's just a piece of a layer. So I've really just been digging deeper into myself, going deep into my subconscious mind, doing even more shadow work, because shadow work is never like done. It's like it's like a consistent thing. There's levels to this consciousness thing. It's like, okay, you can't just think like, oh, okay, I've done the healing, I'm ready to go, like I know who I am now. It's like, a piece of who you are. But it's like the journey is never really done until you transition from this particular lifetime to the next. But I'm here for it. Like it's been intense, but I mean, I'm just trusting the process.
Yeah, the never ending story is just going to keep going and going. And the more and more you put in your work, the more and more you start to slow down all these thought waves or thought forms that come to you that doesn't serve you. So yeah, that's good, CQ. That's good. Yeah, what about you, Mook? I know this year, man, 2020 to 2021, man, it has been best. And it flew by, you know what I mean? There's so much codes in the numbers too that you'll be like, wow, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's been a lot going on. And just to piggyback off of what the both of them were saying, is like, one, what Dira was saying about how long we've known each other and everything like that time has just flew, because I've known y'all quite some time now. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even realize so much time has passed, because it doesn't really feel like that, because like both of them said, it feels like everything's meshed together. We've been in this like time loop, and it's been an interesting, like a really interesting take on the way that time has manifested itself. I think things have been like gone in ways where it seems like things are moving really, really fast and not at all at the same time. So that's that past, present, and future, like all meshing together. It feels like I'm coming together with y'all on like a past life level, and then on a future level, and then in the present, and we bringing all that together. And it's kind of like we assembling a lot of the energy that probably has been here all along, probably longer than we even know. And then now it's kind of like spirit, like, okay, now it's time, like go ahead. And and I remember before I just went back home to Seattle, I was there, no, while I was at home, I was talking to someone, and I've dealt with this a lot over the past 2 years, like outbursts of emotional like energy, and not like, and we're in the beginning, it would be like me wanting to like suppress it. And I've just been at the space, like if I'm at the grocery store crying, I'm at the grocery store crying. Like I don't even care. Like I'm not even in a space to like, this is just how I feel right now. This is what my body needs to express. And so this is just where we're at with it. And I'm like, so I remember being out and I was talking to someone and I was like, you know, they were like, why do you, you know, why are you so emotional? Why you seem so emotional right now? And I said, well, because you don't understand. Once I leave here, and at the time I'm like channeling, right? And I'm like, because you don't understand, once I leave here, things are going to be different. I'm stepping into a new chapter in my life, and like it doesn't include this. Like this is done, and like you guys aren't seeing it. My family, my friends, they weren't really understanding what I meant when I said I'm not coming back, because I have something to do. Like I have something that needs my full attention, my full commitment, and I can't give that to y'all right now. So it was like these two things can't hold the same space anymore, and I'm having to like, Spirit's like, okay, get it out your system. Get it all out your system. Just get it all out your system so we can go ahead and move forward. And so now I'm starting to see that. And when I came back home, I thought about that conversation a lot. And I was like, oh, okay. That's what that was about. Because it didn't really, you know, when you're saying things, it's not really like, you know, setting in. And then I got home and was like, oh, Spirit, I didn't know that was the last time. You should have said that was the last time, you know? And so now I understand that it's been like purging, but it's also been a lot of like the work we have put in. I feel like Spirit, and I just posted about that today, about how Spirit has rectified a lot of situations like cosmically, but those of us who put in the work have also been so good throughout this period. I have to be grateful for that, because I haven't wanted for anything at this, you know, during this time, which really helped me to rely on self and to really rely on Spirit and say like, yeah, I'm okay. I really can do this by myself. I really am going to be okay. Like, you know, and so that was like Spirit, like, here, good, you know. So that's how I feel about it.
Let me add to that, because that is so real. And that has been happening consistently. And it goes back to what you also said, CQ, about this shadow work, this inner child work, because we can't go where we need to go holding on to the same old shit. Like you cannot bring it with you. It's not in alignment with what you have to do. I'll give you a perfect example of this. This year, I've been coaching women like crazy, right? We're talking about trauma. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about we're doing all of this work. 2 weeks ago, I talked about this on another video I just did, but about a week or so ago, like Mook just said, I had all of these emotions coming up. And I'm like, what the hell is all of this? Why am I feeling all of this? And Spirit told me in that moment, okay, this is the opportunity where you have to deal with this, and you have to live out the work that you do with these other women. You have to be that work. And so I grew up, y'all, with an emotionally unavailable mother. And that made me not feel like I could trust my mother with my emotions. And I talk to my mother every morning, right? But this one morning, a week or so ago, while I was emotional, I was resistant to calling her. It was my shadow self, it was my inner child coming up and being like, no, you don't need to talk to your mama. You know, she ain't never been able to be emotionally supportive of you. No, you don't need to do that. You know, that shadow self, that old conversation, those old beliefs was coming up. Spirit told me in that moment, this is your opportunity to let go of an old belief that is not going to serve you where you are going. Okay. So I called my mom. I pushed myself, though that inner child was like, no, don't do it. You can't. She's not going to understand. I called her. And she was so understanding. She told me what I needed to hear. She gave me what I needed as my mother. Okay. So I say all of that to say, in this space and time, in this like warp where we're like, where past is coming up, present is coming up, and you can also see the future, it's really about rewriting the story and taking those opportunities to go beyond what we thought we knew. Like you said earlier, CQ, who we thought we were, what we thought our truths were. Like the truth the truth is changing. The truth is evolving. The truth is what we're making it to be. And we're getting proof of that daily. So it's a major shift that's taking place. And for anybody that's listening to this, you got to be ready to go with it. You got to be ready to go with it, and you got to accept it. And you got to recognize the resistance to the change, the resistance to the transformation. Because you'll feel it. Like, you know, when things need to be changed, when things need to be released, when it's time to move on. There's something within you. Well, we could say ego, we could say wounded child, we can say the emotional body that keeps you connected to these old ways of being. But intuitively, you know it's time to move on. So you got to recognize that, like, whenever I'm having that internal fight, oh, this is me seeing this battle between my higher self and my old self.
Yeah, that's good, babe. That's good. Especially when you just tie in just letting go and letting God. Then you start to just understand that, hey, we can't take this old shit with us.
You can't.
We got to move on and let it go. You feel me?